A few days ago, I released a video about Gaijin's newest game, and that is Active Matter. Essentially, what it is, for those who haven't watched the video, it is modern warfare plus distorting gravity plus adding aliens, and it is essentially a PvP, PvPvE, and essentially a survival game. That is essentially what they said in their description and what they have on their official news website as of right now. Today, we're going to be talking about how this affects Enlisted, and in my personal opinion, it affects Enlisted pretty negatively. So without further ado, let's get started. The first thing that I think affects Enlisted is taking away most of the time. Since we know pretty much that most of the time spent on this game could also be used on spending on, Enlisted. The other thing that it pretty much guaranteed for us is that Enlisted is not going to be War Thunder. What I mean by that is that Enlisted is not going to go to the modern era, which is, in my personal opinion, a very bad thing. The other thing is that, if you look closely at the aliens, this is originally from Enlisted's other game that they released earlier in the year, or should I say update, which is Xenos versus Marines. This is essentially Space Marines versus, well, Enlisted, and essentially is that. Essentially a fun, interesting game mode. But in this case, they're adding active matter, which is essentially modern era with aliens and zero gravity, or distorted gravity to be exact. My personal opinion is that if active matter is so good, then they really should just change active matter to modern warfare versus modern warfare. If they're gonna do that, which, I mean, if they really actually do that, I think it's a better idea than this zero gravity stuff, which, in my personal opinion, although it's not bad, I don't think Enlisted is really, or should I say Gaijin, is not really up for the task of making a game like this. That said, the graphics is very cool and very interesting, so that's that. On the other hand, it also pretty much dictates that Enlisted will be pretty much moving away to active matter, which is unfortunate. And although these are a separate game, and I do expect eventually a separate team to work on active matter, I do feel that Enlisted deserves much more respect, considering the fact that these last few updates have been pretty much bare bones. Like I said, there's not going to be a modern warfare era for Enlisted, considering the fact that at this point, if you've seen AK-47s and whatnot in active matter, you're pretty much guaranteed not to have these stuff, because Enlisted is, or should I say Gaijin, is very interested in adding this as adding these modern weapons into active matter. So that's a mind-boggling event. Overall, this is my personal opinion about the new active matter game. It is encycled Enlisted gameplay, and let's be honest, the weapons that they have are from Modern Warfare. The aliens they have are from the Xenos vs. Marines, which I have linked in the bottom below, and overall, it is nothing new except for probably zero gravity, but even then, I would argue that that's from the Mars/Moon event, so that's that. What are we kidding? Overall, it is supposed to be a survival instinct shooter, and although people have been saying it's Escape from Tarkov, it is clearly not, and in my personal opinion, this is not even close to Escape from Tarkov. As a matter of fact, the setting of Enlisted itself, more akin to squads than personal infantry personnel, is nothing compared to Escape from Tarkov. And Escape from Tarkov is pretty much really survival, and this is not, so that's that. In all reality, this is a game that attempts to be a survival, dive-in, and pretty much futuristic game while achieving pretty much all of them, but all of them are lacking, especially the survival part, so that's that. Of course, we haven't seen any of the new updates yet, and in my personal opinion, this is interesting. I suggest that you get the closed beta testing because you should try everything new, but in my personal opinion, I'm not going to play it, so that's that. Once again, I do think active matter is much better if you just add countries in modern warfare scenarios such as Russia, China, the European Union, which you can argue is multiple countries, and the United States, and put them into a game mode and have them fight it out in the modern era. That is so much better if you ask me. But no, they don't. Not only have they removed stuff from Enlisted and put them into a new game, they are also pretty much denying Enlisted players pretty much what we want, such as a new faction, a new and better maps and whatnot, but they're instead working on the active matter. And although they officially haven't said that they're moving developers onto this game, the lack of any major update and the lack of recycled stuff, which, I mean, if we're looking at the Guerrilla update, there was nothing really new except for the HS-129. The other tank and planes are just pretty much rebrands of the things that we already have or had, and the Martyr series were essentially the only thing new, the Martyr and the HS-129. Everything else is old, and the Guerrilla, let's be honest, like implementing guerrillas is not really that new. And in my personal opinion, besides the new French weapon, which is coming via that event squad, there was nothing really new. And this is pretty much bare bones for all the later Enlisted updates. If you look at Enlisted's other updates, there is a lot of good things about them, but now it's getting to the point in which Enlisted is going on a downhill climb, in the sense that the downhill climb is going worse and worse for Enlisted in general. Active Matter, although definitely did not pull the plug on Enlisted, I do think Active Matter is not the best timed event. Not in the sense that Active Matter is not a bad game, but in the importance of the fact that Enlisted, and to be exact, Gaijin still has Enlisted. Why are you activating to get Active Matter? Pun not intended. On the other hand, what is Gaijin's official stance towards Enlisted? Are they planning to throw away Enlisted as some other game, or are they planning to use Active Matter? Because let's be honest, the Steam update, although brought all new players to the game, wasn't really that much better in terms of the game itself. A lot of players who have played Enlisted have now left, and a lot of other players, such as me, are staying here hoping for something new. Active Matter might have just killed that in the most unironic way possible. Of course, because Gaijin has decided to make a new game, we don't really know what is their opinion on Enlisted anymore, because from what I know, Gaijin has the following games: War Thunder, Enlisted, Crossout, Modern Warships, which is by the way pretty cool, Cursed, Cuisine Royale, and Star Conflict, all of which are for free. And as of right now, War Thunder is probably the most popular among them, followed by arguably either Enlisted or Modern Warships, both of which I've played. So that's that. And Gaijin, to be exact, Gaijin Entertainment is dividing itself pretty thin in terms of a company level, and of course in terms of Enlisted, I do think that they should essentially give us more content, because at this point it does seem like Gaijin is prioritizing other games than Enlisted. And let's be honest, they haven't even really finished Enlisted. Enlisted is not a good game by any stretch of the imagination. It's playable, and you would argue that it's a really fun game, but it's not finished. As a matter of fact, it's not even remotely finished. So, that's that. Overall, have a great day, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.